So it's been a while since the last episode of the Happiest cast on Earth, a few weeks at least. And, yeah, that sucks. Reason, same being as always, just either personal life issues or I couldn't get a guest. And I hate that. I absolutely hate that. So, what I decided to do was to bring back my news videos. But instead of doing one random story, I decided to do multiple stories per video and have them be specifically Disney related. Now, I'm not going to do these all the time. I'm just going to do them whenever A, there's Disney news to talk about, or B, I don't have an episode of the Happiest Cast on Earth ready for that week. So, that's what's going on. So, this is what I like to call the Disney Weekly Update, where I give you all of the big Disney news that went on through the week. So, without further ado, let's get things started.
When you wish upon a star, your dreams come true.
20th Century Studios has announced that they will be partnering with Rick and Morty co-creator Dan Harmon to create a brand new animated series for Fox. Not much information has been given on the show. They have also revealed that they will be working on a brand new film based off of the popular board game Clue. I personally myself enjoy Rick and Morty and some of Dan's other works such as Harmon Quest and Community, so I'm very looking forward to his brand new show coming to Fox in the next few years. I also really enjoy playing the board game Clue with my family on some dark, stormy nights, especially. And although I have yet to see the movie Clue, I know, shame on me, I'm well aware that it is a cult classic that many different people really enjoy viewing to this day. So I am very anticipated for this upcoming film by 20th Century Studios. Not much to say on the matter here. The Disney Plus original series WandaVision released its 6th episode on Friday, this time being taking place around the late 90s and early 2000s, with a full tribute to Malcolm in the Middle, and it's a Halloween-centric episode. Now, the reason they ended up releasing a Halloween episode in February is, of course, COVID. The show was originally scheduled to have its first episode premiere on September 28th of last year, but due to the pandemic, it ended up having to get delayed because of production. And the thing is, this episode would have aired right before Halloween on October 30th if it ended up okay and COVID never happened to begin with. Thanks, COVID. But I still really enjoyed the episode, and many fans have speculated on what the deal with Pietro is, because it's Evan Peters from the Fox movies, but he has the same memory as the MCU Pietro. But he seems to remember stuff well after his death, such as the death of Vision. So, many people are speculating that this is neither version of Pietro, and instead Mephisto manipulating Wanda. People have also speculated that the neurospace engineer that Monica Rambeau has been talking about in the last couple episodes will be Reed Richards, presumably played by John Krasinski. Me personally, I do think that WandaVision will set up the Fantastic Four, because what other neurospace engineer in the Marvel Universe could they be alluding to? Like, come on. And SWORD is looking for some new space searchers, so come on. They gotta get the Fantastic Four. And there's also rumors that WandaVision will start off the X-Men into the MCU, especially with the ending of the last episode, which I will not give away here. To be honest, I have no idea how they will introduce the X-Men into the MCU. Maybe through WandaVision. I don't know. But we're all just going to have to wait and see when WandaVision is finally over in the next few weeks. Disneyland's second gate Disney California Adventure celebrated its 20th anniversary by doing absolutely nothing.
Thanks again, COVID.
Now, me personally, I've never been to Disney's California Adventure or Disneyland in general. I've always lived closer to Florida, so my family would always go to Disney World. But I have experienced some of its rides, thanks to some of them being cloned at Disney World. such as the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror, Twilight Zone Tower of Terror, the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror,
The new Twilight Zone Tower of Terror, the new Twilight Zone Tower of Terror, the new Twilight Zone Tower of Terror,
Soarin', and Muppet Vision 3D. Funny thing about it, that 2 of those 3 rides are exclusive to Disney World now, so not much to say here because Disney didn't really do much for the 20th anniversary, but happy anniversary Disney's California Adventure, and here's to 20 more. Gina Carano was fired from The Mandalorian earlier this week due to saying some very, very offensive comments on the internet. Specifically, a comment that she made on how being a Republican in the modern day is the equivalent of being Jewish in the Holocaust. Yeah, she said that. Not only is this just completely bonkers, it is offensive to anyone of Jewish heritage and anyone with common sense. And this is especially offensive to those whose family either died or lived through the Holocaust. I can only imagine on how Holocaust survivors feel about this comment, especially if they're fans of The Mandalorian. And the worst thing about it is that this isn't even the first time she's done something like this. She is a very, very open conservative, and not the normal type of conservative, the way, way, way too far right type of conservative. She's the type of person who believes in the fake facts of how Macs don't work and the election was rigged. And she also keeps on spreading a bunch of QAnon nonsense. Yeah. And the worst thing about it is that Disney and Lucasfilm were originally going to give her character from The Mandalorian her own show. But due to her comment that she's been saying, they ultimately decided to not do the series. But after her comment on Republicans and the Holocaust, that was the straw that broke the camel's back, which ultimately made Disney fire her from the show. And conservatives are not happy about this, using the hashtag #CancelDisney+, where many of them will cancel their Disney Plus subscriptions simply because they think that Gina Carano got fired for being a conservative, which that is far from the truth, because being a conservative wasn't the reason she was fired. Being very offensive and spreading lies was the reason Disney ended up firing her. The real funny thing about it is that these same people who went bring Gina Carano back to The Mandalorian, are the same type of people who hated her character for being a feminist icon and a awesome independent woman who can easily kick your butt. They would easily complain on how much she was a Mary Sue, similar to how much they complained about Rey in the sequel trilogy. But here they are defending her like she was Jesus or something. These are also the same type of people who would say, let's cancel Disney Plus, and the next day they would immediately talk about, hey, have you seen that new episode of WandaVision? It was really freaking good. Which ultimately proves that you didn't end up canceling your Disney Plus subscription, since how the frick else would you know that episode of WandaVision was good unless you didn't watch the episode, which ultimately resulting in you not canceling your Disney Plus subscription, you idiot. When will conservative celebrities realize that there are consequences for their actions? If you have an opinion that seems controversial, yeah, it's freedom of speech, but often, most of the time, when you say that controversial opinion, that being Republican nowadays is similar to being Jewish in the Holocaust, you're gonna get canceled right away. You are never going to find work again for a long time. And apparently, Gina Carano thinks that her career is still on the right track. She didn't learn a thing from this situation. She thinks she's in the right. Why? Because she is apparently going to be doing a movie with a script by Ben Shapiro. Way to go, Gina. Your career is definitely on the right track here. Gina Carano played a very well-loved character in one of the most popular shows on streaming, which is a series that is part of one of the biggest film franchises of all time, and she was even going to get her own series. But she threw all of that out the window because she didn't keep her freaking mouth shut. Freedom of speech is great, but you have to learn that there are consequences for your actions. Our last story is easily the biggest one that happened this week when Disney announced that they will be shutting down Blue Sky Studios, the once big animation studio by 20th Century Studios, responsible for films such as the Ice Age franchise, the Rio movies, Robots, Horton Hears a Who, Epic, the Peanuts movie, Ferdinand, and Spies in Disguise. I just listed their entire filmography. You're welcome. Now, Disney's reasoning for shutting down Blue Sky is due to costs because of the pandemic. Blue Sky really did change the game for animation visually. They opened the door for more slapsticky and exaggerated computer animation with Horton Hears a Who, and they opened the door with CG movies resembling 2D almost flawlessly with the Peanuts movie. 3 years before Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse perfected it and made the whole trend popular. The only successful property the Blue Sky ever managed to create outside of Ice Age was Rio, since that ended up getting a sequel. Blue Sky was never the best animation studio, but they did bring out some quality products. But with most of their movies underperforming at the box office, it was only a matter of time before the studio ended up shutting down, even if the Disney buyout never happened. Many people did expect Disney to shut down Blue Sky to begin with, since Disney really doesn't need Blue Sky. They have two of the biggest animation studios of all time, and with Blue Sky movies underperforming very often, Blue Sky just felt unnecessary for the company. So to reduce costs, it just would make sense to shut it down. But the result of this closure was most of Blue Sky's employees not having a job during a friggin' pandemic. Although Disney is doing their best to make sure that the Blue Sky employees do get a job. Whether it still be at Disney or not, Disney is trying their best to make sure that these people aren't jobless. But all of Blue Sky's future projects were either cancelled or moved to a different division at the Walt Disney Company. The upcoming Ice Age spin-off movie was moved to Disney Television Animation, while their upcoming original film, Nimona, was cancelled, even though they only had 10 months left of production. Usually when a film is that far into production, it's usually not the smart thing to cancel it, because there's already quite a bit of work done and it would feel like everyone's time was wasted. So, I don't know. Even though most of their movies weren't that successful, and they really aren't that great when you compare them to some of the other animation studios, I'm still going to miss Blue Sky. They really did change the game in animation in quite a bit of places, and some of their films are cult classics to this day that have a prominent fan base. They also made what, in my opinion, the best Dr. Seuss movie, so yay. May Blue Sky Animation Studios rest in peace, and may all of its employees find some jobs in the future. So those are all the big Disney news that happened lately. What are your guys' thoughts on all of these news? And what's your favorite news of the bunch? Please let me know down in the comments below, and I promise to the bottom of my heart that there will be a new episode of the Happiest Cast on Earth next week. Anyway guys, hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you later. Bye!